This segment discusses the core issue of deciding who to nominate to serve as successor trustees. In case you die or become incapacitated, you need to designate who you want to step in to manage the trust assets and carry out the terms of the trust. This is called your successor trustee. Even though a trustee can also be a beneficiary, trusteeship is legally a separate role and issue. In a married trust, both spouses are co-trustees while alive and able. Then at the first spouse's death or incapacity, the surviving spouse becomes the first successor trustee. In a single trust, you are the trustee while you are alive and able. Beyond that, you need to nominate who you want to serve as successor trustees. Generally, you nominate a first choice, a second choice, and even a third choice if you like. Although you are free to nominate co-successor trustees, our experience indicates that multiple co-trustees often complicate matters and tend to make the trust more difficult and costly to administer. And this isn't just our experience. It represents the consensus of many longtime trust attorneys, where at legal conferences, they regularly mention that multiple co-trustees consistently lead to the most frequent and expensive litigation. That is why our suggestion is to have just one trustee serving at a time, only falling to the next nominee if or when the previous one is unable or unwilling to serve. The choice is yours. Whoever you choose, the most important criterion is that they are fair, responsible, and absolutely honest and trustworthy. It isn't a requirement that they be an expert in all matters, as they are authorized to get all the help and assistance they need, from legal to financial to accounting advice, and for all other matters reasonably needed to carry out the terms of the trust. In designating successor trustees, unless they are minors, many choose their children. They should probably be at least 25 years old, though legally they only need to be 18. Some commentators advise appointing all the children together, but that belies the previous warning about how that often makes the trust more difficult and costly to administer, and also consistently leads to the most frequent and expensive trust litigation. Again, the choice is yours. If all else is equal, we suggest leaning towards choosing someone geographically close to you. Except for the surviving spouse, we strongly advise nominating only resident U.S. citizens as trustees, because a foreign trustee can sometimes trigger tax and other complications. Finally, you should be aware that trustees are always entitled to be reimbursed for any expenses. Also, we are often asked if a trustee is entitled to compensation for serving. The technical answer is yes, they are entitled to reasonable compensation, but in reality, many choose to serve without compensation. That is an individual choice. Simply put, there is no better way of stating the compensation a trustee is entitled to because what is reasonable varies with the circumstances surrounding each trust, with some being more work than others. Figuring this out is usually done in conjunction with a CPA, using certain guidelines, which also consider the surrounding facts, circumstances, and degree of difficulty in administering the trust. In closing, we suggest not getting so entangled about who to nominate as successor trustee that it prevents or significantly delays you from getting something in place. Otherwise, you remain in arguably the worst position of all, leaving you no say in the matter with everything remaining in the hands of the courts and the state. Remember, you do not need someone's permission to nominate them as a successor trustee. If someone doesn't want to serve, they simply decline, and it falls to the next. Also, you can change this at any time. Take the steps to keep your loved ones in control instead of leaving it up to the lumbering, impersonal, and expensive courts in the state. Deciding on trustees is one of the key steps in this regard.